kinda neither. Pokémon Champions, the new standard for competitive Pokémon. The definitive, universal, cross-generational Pokémon battling experience, perhaps forevermore, is finally here. And let's just say it's being a real Pokemon game right now. You know, it's Pokemon Champions. It's very Pokemon game coded. So far, player reception has been just the very definition of mixed. You know, like, obviously the bones of a good experience are here. Like, you know, there's only so much you can get wrong. Like, at least at its core, we're just looking for like a game where you can fight Pokemon online. And like, yeah, that's what this is. But the complaints so far are plentiful. They are bountiful. We are swimming in an ocean, just a bounty of complaints. First, though, I'm going to talk about my own experience thus far. As always, I am not a serious or good Pokemon player. I'm the very definition of a casual. My knowledge only goes so deep. I do not optimize my teams very well. It seems a lot of the issues that you're going to experience with this game are probably going to come up when you play for kind of a long time. You know, I've played for like a handful of hours so far, but you'll run into a lot more issues over time. And then, of course, just having a deeper knowledge of how the game is supposed to be working, you're probably going to pick up on a lot more of these problems that I'm probably not noticing. So from my admittedly very shallow perspective, you know, whatever that's worth, I'm having an okay time so far. You know, like I'm having fun with it. And actually, it's funny. This is my very first time getting Pokemon Home and like doing the whole Pokemon Home thing and like digging into my old games and bringing in my team. So that's actually been kind of fun, although kind of a pain because I had to like re-download a bunch of the games just to boot them up and like save my file, just to like make a save file with the latest version of the game, or like to go in and take the Pokemon out of my party and put them in the box because Pokemon Home can only access them from the boxes. So I mean, that was kind of a pain, and I only had the patience to do it for like a few of the games, but I got the main ones, you know, like the main teams. So that's been kind of fun. Been a little kind of a trip down memory lane, you know, like, oh, I remember these guys. These old pals from college. I remember the good times we had together. So it's been fun to kind of pool them together into one chunk and move them over to Champions. I mean, it's, you know, other stuff about it has been, like, the whole process was a pain in the butt. Like, don't get me wrong, but pardon my language, but fun in its own way. And so yeah, playing Champions, there's a good amount of tutorial to get through. I'm not gonna lie. It's, I mean, like, I suppose it's to be expected, but yeah, like there's kind of an annoying amount that you have to do before you are like allowed to do anything. And I'm kind of mixed on this game trying to be like a full game with like a story. You know, like I feel like I should be thankful like anytime a game has kind of like a thing, like a real motivation. You're a character and there are other characters and there's like that's usually a good thing, but here, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't care about any of these characters. They're not compelling. This is just kind of more dialogue to wade through. Oh, the mayor of the town is here. I don't care. Just give me the menu. Just bring me to the menu, man. But yeah, to get to the actual gameplay, battling it's fun. Like, you know, it's kind of what you'd expect. So far, I really do think that there is quite a novelty to being able to pull from all of these old teams from all these different generations and just kind of hop into a battle. You know, like I never really got too much into the online modes in any of the games, you know, a little bit in like ZA, like most recently. But it's cool having all of these different Pokemon from these old teams and just having them. I can arrange them however I want, whatever team I want, and then just you just click a button and suddenly you're fighting someone. You know, like it's cool. You just like, there it is. It's always there. The online experience has been very good so far. Kind of surprising, especially considering the online experiences I had with some of the old games. If I did anything online, it was like raid battles and stuff. And even in like the turn-based ones, even like Sword and Shield, it was terrible. It was like super slow and laggy and weird. But no, here, like, it's been fine. I've not experienced any major lag or errors. It's not I mean, mainly disconnects is really the thing that I'm looking out for most, and I've just not had any. You know, it only ever takes a brief moment to connect to another player and play them, and no disconnects. So yeah, so far the online itself has been perfect. You know, I really, really like how you have your team and then you just like pick 3. But like you're looking at the other person's team and you're each like secretly picking 3 for the match. I don't know. It's just like there's like the subtle mind game, you know? It's like the little strategy session before the battle. And I'm not actually like that smart. I'm not gonna like, well, you know, they see that I have this and I see they have this, so I'm gonna pick this, but they're gonna know that I'm gonna pick that, so I gotta pick this instead. I'm not actually like good at it, but I still think it's really fun. That very brief little mind game, just trying to imagine, what are they gonna pick? What do they think I'm gonna pick? I just think it's a lot of fun. In the combat itself, I was worried that it was gonna feel too sluggish because, you know, as I've complained about probably an annoying number of times now, the turn-based combat, it's just really worn on me over the years. It's very, very slow, and so I was afraid that this would be way too sluggish, especially if there was like, if the online component was slowing things down even more. But it's really not so bad. It's really not too bad so far. I've even seen people saying that this is actually kind of faster than most, if not all, of the mainline turn-based games, so that's pretty good. And you know, it seems like I'm probably alone here, but I don't have too much of a problem with the visuals. I think they look okay. Like, obviously they could look better. These systems are capable of more. But I don't know, there's something about the lighting that I think looks pretty good. You know, the environment looks all right. You're seeing like even some 3D models in the in the crowd. Like, I don't know, it looks okay. Some of the animations are all right. I like the use of the camera angles and stuff. I think I just didn't expect very much because this is also going to be on mobile. And so often when a game is going to be on mobile, they just kind of like, rather than having like a really fancy version for the console and then like way stripped down for mobile, they kind of like keep like more or less keep kind of pseudo parity between them. So yeah, I don't know. My expectations weren't super duper high. I think it looks okay. The resolution is definitely a thing, and actually, like, all the footage you're seeing here is stuff, presumably, we haven't edited yet, but like at least mostly stuff that I recorded, and apparently I didn't know this until way later on, until I found it online. Apparently there's a bug where the resolution is basically like stuck in the Switch 1 mode until you undock and redock the Switch 2. So like every time you turn on the game, you have to do it again, and then it'll like click in to the higher resolution. So like so far I haven't even been able to enjoy the higher resolution very much. I'm sure they're gonna fix that probably pretty soon, but that's definitely something to consider at the moment. For me, the biggest problem is just the frame rate. You know, like I'm not the kind of person who feels like every game in the world has to have a perfect frame rate, especially like Pokemon, especially a turn-based game. But like, I don't know, there is kind of a choppiness to it. It looks like it's aiming for 30. It just feels like it's less. It feels like it's like 26 or so. You know, there's just this very slight choppiness to the whole thing. Even in like cutscenes, I feel like there's no reason for the cutscenes to look like they do. And then yeah, it's even worse because it's just not very consistent, and it kind of dips here and there, but it's not even just like, oh, you know, a lot of action on screen. No, it's just kind of whenever. It's just even during cutscenes, it's just kind of just wherever and whenever it just kind of dips a little bit more. And yeah, I don't know, it gives the whole thing a very just kind of, along with the relatively simple visuals, gives the whole thing kind of a sloppy, kind of sluggish, unfinished sort of feel. You know, a lot of people being like, this kind of feels like an alpha build of a game. And I'm definitely getting those vibes as well. So yeah, visuals definitely not bad, but like, yeah, for me, at least the frame rate, it's like this definitely could have been a lot smoother, especially playing on Switch 2. Like, come on. Because I am not a very good player, I have not risen in the ranks very far at all. It is interesting, the whole like ranked thing. It is completely linear. You know, this is not one of those games where like, oh, you can lose so many times before losing progress, or like, oh, as long as you are engaging in these battles, you get to like keep your progress in some way. Like, sure, you keep like your VP and your little like tickets or whatever, but as far as like ranking progress goes, no, strictly linear. You win, it goes up. You lose, it goes down that amount. So like, I mean, it's completely fair, but there is kind of like a tension to it. I really can't get very far at all because I can't win that much more than I lose. So that's been kind of an interesting experience so far. So yeah, then like outside of the battling, you know, like they try to turn it into a whole game experience. You know, you've got your little like achievements board, you know, you got your long-term challenges and then your daily and weekly challenges, yada yada, and you gotta claim your little rewards and stuff. So okay, stuff to work toward. You've got the recruiting system if you don't have any Pokemon to pull from other games or home or whatever, and it's very, very straightforward. I thought it was going to be like a little mini game or something. It's really not. You just kind of go to the recruiting menu, and every day it gives you a new like selection of Pokemon to choose from. You can recruit one for free temporarily per day, but you can pay tickets or VP or whatever to recruit indefinitely, or to recruit more than one Pokemon, or to re-roll the selection of recruitable Pokemon within a day. So, you know, you can spend stuff to like get more there. And speaking of spending, there's of course the shop. You know, you've got held items, you've got all these cosmetics and, you know, Pokeball throwing animation and clothes and all this different stuff. And, you know, I'm really not going to be able to, like, accurately judge this game. Like, I'm probably never going to be able to dive that much into it to know whether or not, like, the prices and stuff are good. At this moment, the whole VP system seems to be pretty generous. You know, like, just looking at the prices of some of these cosmetics and things. Like, I was able to buy like a bunch of like mega stones. Like, it was weird that it didn't let me transfer them from the games, but then I was able to just buy them for like a few VP each, like no problem at all. Now I just have them forever. I was able to get some animations and stuff. Like, it's okay. It's really not too bad. You earn a pretty good amount of VP from battling. And if I wanted to keep some of these Pokemon in the recruitment menu, then like, yeah, I basically would have been able to do it as many times as I wanted by now. So far, it's, even if you're not paying for like the battle pass or whatever, it's pretty generous. However, I don't trust it one bit. I don't think anyone should trust that it is going to stay this way, because you can definitely see the potential there, you know, like, oh yeah, they're gonna raise the price here, or they're not gonna allow this here, or like they're gonna feed these Pokemon into the recruitment. Like, there's a lot of really subtle ways that they can kind of change things over time. So I'm still like, you know, I'm still gonna keep my guard up. But at least at the moment, it seems to be a pretty doable free experience. So yeah, overall experience is pretty good so far. You know, I don't feel like I'm not coming up against paywalls. I'm not coming up against too many like big game-breaking problems or anything. But like I said, more experienced players who are spending a lot more time with the game, they're having a lot of problems. Very, very big problems. Most of them are not very happy about the visuals. That really does seem, yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them. They have higher standards than me, I guess. So I'm a boiled frog. So that's a thing. And like, a thing about this game is that we definitely, you know, couple of known issues going in. It's just that, like, when you see the potential issue and then you get there and you see that the potential issue, you know, potential, that means it might not be a big deal, or it could be a big deal. When you get there and it's like, oh no, it's a very big deal. You know, like, we knew that not every Pokemon was going to be compatible with Champions yet. And I do think that after long enough, they probably all will be. But at the moment, the number that are compatible is very low. Like, it's a lot lower than I think I expected. Out of all the Pokemon I wanted to transfer, there were a good few of them that could not transfer. But then even when I did transfer within Champions, then additionally, there were more that were just kind of like, no, I don't know why. It let me put them over, but it was like, no, you can't use them. Maybe there's some deeper reason I gotta mess with. I'm not sure, but like, yeah. Right here, my good buddy Daniel from over on GVG, you can see a little video he did here, just kind of showing how, like, even a lot of just very basic and popular Pokemon are just somehow not allowed to be in Champions. And I know a lot of this is because they're like, okay, well, we want you to have like the fully evolved version. We're not going to spend the time coding the unevolved ones, because anybody who's like seriously battling is going to be battling with a fully evolved Pokemon. It's just still kind of surprising how small that pool is. But then the biggest problem is that this game is just like super duper duper buggy. Like, way more. I mean, like, considering the relative simplicity of Pokemon and like how it's like turn-based, you know, it's all just kind of like order of operations. Like, considering that, it is incredible how many bugs made it into this game. Just stuff not working the way that it should, things not happening in the right order, moves not working the way they should, held items not working the way they should. No, seriously, just like this laundry list of problems. And they've said that, oh, we're working on them. You know, they've got like a few little problems. So like, we're working on these ones real fast, but like, that's just some of them. The list is so long. There's just so many bugs. So between that, all the bugs and the visuals, the way the game runs, and then the very, very small compatible Pokédex, the general consensus is that this game is just like not done. They just did not finish the game before they, it feels like an alpha build, you know, not even like a beta. Beta. Why is it every time I come up upon that word, I just, beta. Whatever. It's like a beta. I mean, not even a beta, more like an alpha, like just like such an early build that it's like not even like quite ready to ship yet. And I mean, I don't know. It kind of depends on how you look at it. Obviously, it is an experience I can boot it up and I can like play games with it and stuff. You know, it's sort of about your perspective, but like I can definitely see the perspective that it feels like an alpha build, especially just with that choppiness in like the animations and stuff. It's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know, man. They are going to update it over time. They absolutely are. Like this is probably an eternal game. I would not be surprised if they just kept this game rolling basically forever. And they're going to add Pokemon compatibility to it. They're going to squash some bugs. Maybe they'll even make it run better over time. You know, I have no doubt that 1 to 5 years from now, it's going to look very, very different. But at this time right here, it's just like, all right, even considering that, even considering the fact that this is a live service game, you're going to keep updating it over time, really does feel like you pulled the trigger just a hair too early. You know, you really did. Like, I get Pokemon Company, they love rushing products out the door, but you know, there's kind of like a minimum standard that you should probably try to hit. You know, it's kind of like, it's one thing to be running late for work and to like run out the door and you got like the coffee sloshing in one hand and you got your bag in the other hand and your hair isn't quite done yet and you're kind of like rushing to the car. Like, it's one thing to do that. And it's another when it's like, all right, like you didn't even finish pulling your pants up. You know, like you got, like, come on, you're still brushing your teeth. Like you can't be brushing your teeth on the way to the car. Like you got to finish that before you got to do your belt up. Both shoes have to be on before you get out that door. And it goes without saying, but especially when you consider like how long have you been making these games, man? How much money do you have? Like, how long, even just since they announced this game? It's not even the most complex game in the world. It's really, really strange that it's not more finished at this point, but it's a Pokemon game, so, you know, there you go. Hopefully it doesn't take them too long to fix up the game and make it get it a little bit closer to what we were expecting and hoping, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, I am very, very pleased that you decided to watch this video. I very much appreciate it. I would also appreciate it if you let me know what kind of experience you are having with the Pokemon Champions game down in the comments. Have a wonderful day. I love you.